Hello, folks. Welcome to the Archeryshack Shop Talk podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
We on number 36. Thank you all for tuning in for 36 weeks. If you're new to this channel, hit the old subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, and leave us a comment. We'd like to get questions and have questions to answer and stuff to talk about. So let us know what you'd like to hear us chat about. We've brought these up before. But as our product, I'd like to mention we make custom bowstrings, Archeryshackstrings.com. Check those out. We can do any color, multiple colors, 2, 3, 4 colors, pinstripes, clear serving, colored serving, black serving, whatever you want for any bow. And we have a discount code for our podcast folks. If you go to the website, put in your order at the very last screen, it'll ask for like a discount code. Put in podcast15, podcast15, and it'll get you 15% off. We threw that out last week and had a couple orders. A couple folks used it on their order, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so it'll save you a few bucks. We pre-stretch them during the whole process. They're stretched while they're laid out, before they're twisted, while they're twisted, while they're served, and after they're served. So we try to do the best we can. We usually have a lot of good feedback about them. So Archeryshackstrings.com, check them out. We had our giveaway Thursday night. Gave away a stabilizer. I was wanting to announce some new stuff we're giving away, but I hadn't got the exact details yet. But I did have a company or two, or a guy affiliated with a company or two, say that he could get us a few things from companies to give away. So we'll most likely announce that on our live feed Thursday and tell you all the details on that. And then the next Thursday, do the giveaway when we go live. And if you're new to the channel, we have a video that comes out Sunday evening. Our podcast comes out Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. and then Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. We go live for about anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and we've done giveaways and we've done questions and answers and sort of techie stuff. We've messed with some arrows and we got some more crossbows and everything else. So check all that out. And yeah, good times. We talk about. We do a lot of questions and answers, but we talk a lot about bow hunting and bow setups and technical stuff and tuning and bowstrings and whatever. So that's kind of what we do here. If you're new and hadn't been checking us out before,
Yep.
Trying to think of some new stuff to do, really on the podcast and the live feed. So, like I say, put us a comment. TJ's got a fancy email set up. You can email him and let him know, hey, I'd like to talk about this or see this done or whatever.
And that address is tj@archeryshack.com. I keep wanting to say gmail.com, but it's tj@archeryshack.com.
But we had a very busy day in the shop. I think I don't know what it is. I think everybody's at home and just wanting to tinker with stuff, but we've been selling the fool out of some strings compared to this time last year, and definitely the bow drop-off rate is kind of out of the roof.
It is.
And I think TJ's got a point of maybe a lot of the busy season folks that wait till the last second are getting it done now, so hopefully maybe the busy season won't be as bad. And I don't want to complain, but it's like the month before hunting season, it is everything we can do to try to stay halfway caught up.
It is.
So if they're getting that done now, that
Thank
would be
you.
great. Yeah.
Thank you.
That would be perfect.
So maybe we won't be out here till midnight or later, or 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
During the busy season.
That is no joke. Somebody had asked me, I think it was in the shop, but we were talking about like our first bows or whatever. And my first compound bow was the Browning Micro Midas. And I remember back then it was hard to find a kid's bow. You know what I mean? It was either like a piece of junk or that was it. And my daddy had got a Matthews, and at the time they didn't make anything short enough for me to shoot. And I remember I was pitching a fit. Gotta have a Matthews. And he was like, well, we'd buy you one if they made it. But I started with the Browning Micro Midas. It was a good bow. I wish I could find it, but I guess it's long gone. I ended up selling it to a buddy of mine after I'd upgraded, and I don't know what he did with it, but it'd have been neat to keep that. And then I bought Mountaineers out of business now, but then I went to a Mountaineer, and at that point I think I had I want to say like a 25, 26-inch draw, and it had like some aggressive hatchet cam, so it was fast, but it had a short brace height, and it would just barely hit me in the arm, and I really didn't like that. Even though I could play with the draw lengths just a smidgen, it didn't jive. Big old rubbery grip. And then finally they came out in 97 with the Matthews Feather Max, and you could get that Mini Max cam. And I don't remember what it would go down to, but whatever it would go down to, I got it. And I thought I was something. And let's see who we got messaging us here. I thought I was something with that Matthews, and I kept that bow for a while, ended up switching it out to a Max cam, until I got to my 28-inch draw or whatever, and then started switching around with different bows then. But what'd you start out with?
I actually started out with old recurve, just tinkering around with, and to be honest, my first compound bow was old Pawn Shop Special, old PSC Game Getter, I think it was.
Yeah.
Like a late 80s model bow. But that was the first one I had, and I shot it for a little while, and then I ended up getting a Matthews Z-Lite off of.
I remember that, yeah.
I got it off of a friend of my daddy's. He was getting out of archery and pretty much sold me the bow, a couple deer stands, targets. He just sold me everything he had. So
yeah,
I even got a couple Brent Hunt tree stands out of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, like you say, I just kind of kept going up the line. I think I ended up with an FX for a period of time, and then they came out with the switchback, and I kept it for probably 10 years or better before I had a buddy. He's like, man, he said, if you ever sell that bow, he said, I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to hang on to it. And he kept asking me. I said, well, I tell you what, I'll sell it to you. And I told him what I wanted for it, and he's like, I'll get it. I was like, darn, didn't ask maybe I should have asked for a little bit more for it, but he passed away about a year ago, so I'm sure his wife still has the bow. So
I would say another question I was thinking about talking about was, people are always saying, and this, I think you just answered it, but what bow do you wish you would have kept that you got rid of? And mine would have definitely been the Switchback XT that I had for a good while as a hunting bow. I know you love that Switchback.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, that Switchback XT was just a good solid bow for its day. It shot good, it felt good, I could shoot it good. And also, I don't know, I'd be between that and then I had a Q2, the 34-inch Q2. And when Matthew sent it to me, they put my name in the grip, and it was all fancy, and I probably should have kept it. But I did keep the Q2 XL, and once in a blue moon, we'll shoot it or whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, it's funny, though, because I say it shot good, but if we get it out now, it shoots like crap, compared to the new bows. But in its prime, I guess is what I'm saying, it was a heck of a shooter.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest question we get asked in the shop or even on our podcast or live feed. What's a good older model bow in the $300 to $500 price range? And, it's kind of a two-edged sword, because I think back to the Switchback, because that bow shot great for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you could get some actually newer models of some of the newer bows that's only probably 6 or 7 years old for in that same price range as you trying to go back a little bit further.
Yeah. Bows, because of the internet trading that goes on with bows drop value a lot quicker than they used to. So, you can get a 3 or 4 year old bow for a quarter of what it cost, just like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, we hear that a lot. What bow you wish you'd have kept? What bow did you start with?
And while we're on the internet part of it, another question we get asked, and this is phone calls, emails, people coming into the shop, and podcast questions. Where do I sell my used bow at or anything like that? And, a lot of people come in and say, hey, do y'all do trade-ins or anything like that? And, most of the time we say no, because what they got, we kind of got to hurt their feelings of what they're going for on eBay and everything else. So, you know, if you've got a used bow that you're looking to sell, and unless your shop does a pretty decent trade-in value or does any kind of trades in, eBay or really Facebook's where it's at. And you can get in some of those buy-sell groups. And, I mean, just be sure that you don't post a picture of it and put it in a comment.
Facebook is so weird. So as of the time we're recording this, like TJ said, the best thing to do is just put, I wouldn't even put I'd just put the model. Like say you're selling the Matthews Verdicts. Just literally put like verdicts in comments or something like that. You don't need to put the word sale. There's so much stuff that'll get it flagged. But then in the comments, you can type up the whole thing. Matthews Verdicts 2970. This is what I want. This is, it's an 8 out of a 10. It's got a scratch on the limb, whatever. Put all your pictures and all that, and usually you can get by with it. But if you put very much in that main title, they get took down left and right. There's a couple pages me and TJ are over or help with on Facebook, and one of them is a big one, and I bet I get 10 messages a day. Luckily, it goes to that private folder where if you're not friends with them, you don't really see them. But every now and then I'll get on there and look, and I mean it'll literally be hundreds of people saying, "Why'd y'all take my post down? Why'd y'all take my post down?" It's never us taking it down. It's Facebook taking it down. So you got to be careful. But Facebook's the best place. Yeah. But you got to be careful. And if you post it and they take it down, you got to switch something up. Try it again. Yeah. Craigslist is not near as big as it once was, but it's not a bad place still. And then there's a lot of people using OfferUp and not Mercari. What's the other one? Where you meet people. OfferUp's one of them.
OfferUp, and then I can't remember the one you're talking. I know which one.
Crap, I can't think.
Is it Let's Deal or something like that?
Let Go.
Let Go. That's it.
A lot of people are using that now, and it seems like they have pretty good luck. eBay is still big, but I mean you're gonna pay about 12%, maybe more. Actually, by the time you figure in shipping, you're gonna pay more than that. You're looking at 15-20% by the time it's all said and done. Selling it on eBay, so you're going to get the most eyes on it, but you're also going to pay the most fees, and so it's just according to what you got,
And also, if you do have to ship the bow, make sure that if you have PayPal's the best way to go, but do not send it friends and family.
Yeah, because what that means is, if you're not familiar, on PayPal, there's 2 ways to pay for something.
Goods and services.
And that means whoever's going to pay a small fee when they get the money. If you send them $500, they might get,
I think it's 3%.
Something like that. But if something goes wrong, let's say you buy a bow from a guy and you pay for it that way.
And he never ships
it. The post office loses it. Anything happens, you can get your money back.
Yep.
Until it shows the package has been delivered, you good. And even after that, if it's tore all to crap or whatever, you can send in pictures and get your money back.
Yeah.
But if you send it what they call friends and family, that's like if I send it to TJ. I know TJ. I know I ain't got to worry about nothing. I would send it that way to TJ. But some guy that lives in, North Dakota I've never met, and he says, "Man, if you don't mind, send it friends and family." And even though he seems like a cool cat on Facebook, do not do it. No. We see all kinds of people getting their money took that way, and there's nothing that can be done once you send money that way. So you're just hoping you get the product.
Yeah.
I've got 2 new apps that I know absolutely nothing about, but there's one called Venmo and there's one called the Cash app, and they're both getting pretty popular. I know probably with both of them, but I know with Venmo you're protected as long as you do it the right way, like on PayPal, but I don't know enough about it yet to tell you all the specifics. I just know that I've had Venmo for a little over a year. I've used it like twice. Let's talk about some turkey hunting.
Oh, Lord.
I actually ran into Freddie Gosnell a while ago, and that joker's a turkey slayer, but Ches put together this neat video. He took one of Sunday's kids, and they shot a turkey, and they made a whole video. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it
I'll send it to you. It's neat. But he's only 4 or 5, but he shot his first turkey, and they videoed it, and it was neat. But we don't have that many people come in shooting turkeys with bows. There's just a few. And we've talked about it before. Most folks let their bow down. They want the arrow to kind of stay in the bird and tear up stuff, not just zoom through it, and the turkey bill to take off or whatever. But it's a hard thing to shoot a turkey with a freaking bow and arrow.
It's even hard with a shotgun sometimes.
Yeah, they can see like crazy. It almost feels like we should be talking deer season because there's so much traffic because of this virus crap.
Yeah.
Speaking of virus crap, Total Archery looks like they're going to either cancel or change up 2 more shoots.
I seen Pennsylvania and Vermont.
Yeah.
They said they were going to wait as long as they could, but they were already looking at alternative dates. So I hope that Pennsylvania and Vermont, I hope y'all have a better turnout or a better than we did, because the Southeast up in Tennessee got completely canceled.
Luckily, we heard word today that one of our local clubs is going to try mid to late May to have a shoot. So that'll be the first shoot that's been around here, and at that point it'll be about 2 months.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer. So, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy because for us, I just got a tornado watch. Is that true?
I don't know. My phone went off.
I mean, there's a few clouds out there, but I didn't know there was a dang. Yeah, it says tornado watch.
Yeah.
Where? Okay, I see some stuff coming, but it looks like it's a little ways above us. Anyway, over this past month and a half, at this point in time, would have been our prime 3D shooting season, because around here, everybody shoots up until it gets super hot, and it gets super hot around about June, you know what I mean? Once June hits, it's like everything slows back down, and there's a brief, there's still a few shoots, but there's a brief break until hunting season starts. But
yeah.
So it's been a weird year. I'm sure it has for everybody else too, but
oh yeah.
I don't know what to think. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't know what. I hadn't even looked into the ASA shoots or any of that on what might be changed or any of that. So
I know the last I had seen and heard was Fort Benning. I hope I'm saying the one that's down right there on the Georgia-Alabama line.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Fort Benning. I had heard that they made it the classics. I don't know if that's the case or.
This is wild.
I
hadn't looked into IBOs or any more R100s to see what they've done.
They canceled one. I know they canceled another R100. I think it was Conway, wherever that. It just said Conway's canceled. So, I understand that. I know it's a hard decision because the R100 supports. It's not like Reinhardt puts that one on. A local archery club actually is the one that hosts it. They're the ones that puts the target out.
Yeah.
And, they run it. It's not, I think Reinhardt may send like a couple people to help with the registration process and, kind of behind the scenes part of it. But, the R100, it not only is it hurting them, but it's also hurting that club that is hosting it. So, the TAC is, the Total Archery's the Total Archery. They've got their own little group. And
yeah, they do it all.
So.
Man, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this.
Here's a good question right here. Which outfit would you rather work for? Would you rather work for the R100 of putting those big elephant, giraffes, and all them big targets out?
No.
Or would you work for TAC and having to put all those targets up and down the side of cliffs and mountains and everything?
No. I couldn't imagine having to assemble them giraffes and stuff. I think I'd probably rather do that, because when we shot that Total Archery, they were like, a mountain is no joke. I don't even know how they got some of them targets in there without sending a mountain man in to camp out overnight and administer a target. But
I know right there at the end, I was just like, leave my air in the target. Yeah. I'll get it in the bucket in the morning.
That's what I said. I was like, I'm just going to take 50 airs next year and we'll just shoot and leave them. But it's something else. But yeah, our turkey season is in full swing, but it don't seem like it because of all this mess. And there are people turkey hunting, but it's like hadn't heard as much about it as normal. So that's sort of weird. Got a couple videos we shot this morning that'll be coming out at some point. I got what all did we do?
We did a Matthews Monster.
We got the original Monster.
Expedition Eccentric 7.
And then
a Hoyt Carbon Element.
Yeah, that I swapped cams on. So there's really nothing fancy about any of them. They all were pretty easy, but those will be coming up sooner than later. And then we still got the Carbon Cure Diamond and something else that I'm waiting to release, but I can't remember what it was.
I know the
Z7
Carbon.
Extreme, yeah.
Z7 Extreme.
I don't know what's coming out when, but I got to get half of them put together. So we got all those coming out. Normally we'd have a few 3D shoot videos popping out, but like we said, there ain't none happening. So maybe if Kiwi Bowman has one here in about a month, we'll be able to at least go shoot it and throw a video out.
I just wonder how they're going to do it, because, I heard, like, here in South Carolina, well, this will come out after this, but I heard that our governor was going to extend the state of emergency for 2 more weeks is what I had heard.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I feel like we could shoot, and they'll just have to have guidelines of, no groups no bigger than 3 or 4 and this, that, and the other, but we'll see. Like I say, I've never seen anything like this. I just wonder, not to get into any more than we need to, but how long after this sort of gets better will it take for everything to get back to normal? And I think it might be a year, or you know what I mean? Like, I think in the fall everybody's going to be freaking out thinking it's coming back, and it could. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll wait and see.
Well, I just wish the media would quit.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
I think that's the biggest thing is the media right now. I mean, shoot. I went into Lowe's the other morning before I come here just to get a lock. And I had to park down towards the road.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what did I go to Lowe's for.
I think you had to get some zip ties or something.
That's what it was. And I mean, it was packed. It was like I walked in and I'm not by no means one of these people freaked out about this corona, but when I walked in I was like, good Lord, there's a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And so I ain't paid no attention to nothing. They got signs, aisles are one way. And I'm like, all I'm doing is going right here and I'm going right back to a cash register. So, and I mean, I know it's worse in other states, and we're not trying to make fun of this. We hope everybody is safe and well.
We talked to a couple people this week actually that said they had close family members that had it, and one was even in their 80s, and they said
80. One was 93 and one was 89 or 90, I think. I hope I got them 2 days. I know he said his grandpa was 93 years old.
Yeah, and they had it and was recovered fine with not even a hospital stay. So I don't know. I just wonder. I don't know. I wonder a lot of stuff. But I had somebody ask me, I don't remember when or where, but this week about when we put a QAD on, why do we typically run the string through the cable of the rest, the string that comes off the rest through the cable of the bow versus using the little football clamp they send? And
oh man,
I figured we'd chat about that. So really there's the football clamp is fine, and it does cinch down pretty good, and it would be easy if you thought you needed to make a bunch of adjustments and all that, but the main thing is you serve it into that cable and it's there for good. You know what I mean? It's not going anywhere. I guess the only argument I could have for the football would be if that cord stretched, you could move it, but also if that cord stretched, you can also loosen up the screw on the rest end and pull that string through a little bit. So that's why I really, really like recently that we've been doing more and more limb-driven rests, because you don't have to worry about any of that, and it's not putting a tug on the cable, and it's a very minute amount of tug, but I can not have one in the cable, time a bow, put it in there, and then it has a little tug on it, and you can see on the cams it does slightly pull on one cam, and sort of throw it at a time, but I mean just barely. So
well, and I look at it this way: if you actually take that little football clamp, is what I like to call it, is if you take it apart and you go to put it on that string, there's no kind of like just any type of like felt or something to keep it from.
Yeah.
So if that clamp had started to slide a little bit for some reason, you're gonna start wearing into that string, and it's gonna cause you some problems down the road.
Yeah. But if you were to buy one of those rests, you didn't have a bow press or any way to do it, that clamp's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't think we hate the clamp. We just I feel like it's a little more stable not using it. But there's no problem with using it.
If I remember right, QAD was the first ones that had the clamp, because back in the day when Trophy Taker come out, they didn't have the clamp. So I don't
remember no clamp.
I don't ever remember having a clamp. I just remember always running it through the bus cable. But, like you say, we switched over to the limb drivens, and it's so much easier because you've always got some, a little bit of extra loop cord in your pack or something like that. So if you did somehow break it, it's an easy fix in the field. Whereas, if you were using a clamp, those QAD styles are a little bit more tricky because you got to take the cover off. And, I'm not knocking a QAD. I run one for a long time. But, now that I've switched over to a limb driven, it's so much simpler to me.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't have to worry about timing.
If your cord does stretch, you just tug down on that on that cord and tighten it back up. And, absolutely worst case scenario, let's say you hit the cord with a broadhead and cut it. Well, the rest is at full up position, and you could technically still shoot an arrow. Your fletchings are going to hit it, and it's going to definitely affect it. But I would think if you still got to make a shot, you could do it, and it would be okay, just not ideal.
Well, and most of them are spring.
Yeah.
Have a spring,
so it may, with the momentum of the arrow, it could push it down.
May lay it down. So,
but anyway, just some talk about that. Let's talk about different glues that we use for different stuff, because we get a lot of talk about that.
And then a number one no on some of them.
So let's just start out simple: inserts and knock bushings. In my opinion, you really got pretty much two options. One is a super glue. Typically, we just for a long time use goat tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then really just kind of tried some Walmart super glue, and it worked the exact same, was the same consistency, and everything is goat tough, and about a third of the price. And I love goat tough, but I was like, we're saving a ton, and it's doing the same thing. So we'll use like a runny super glue for an insert or knock bushing, or boning makes that cool heat hot melt, and you can use that stuff. And I actually seen Chris B was using it on his carbon arrows, and I forgot they'd even made that stuff, so I got to reading on it, and you literally, it don't heat up hardly any, and it's safe on carbon. I still wouldn't use it, but you could.
Yeah, and that's where the big no comes in.
Yeah, as a regular hot melt.
Is don't use regular hot melt, and don't use the glue sticks from Wally World in the heat gun either.
We had some arrows come in that somebody went to Walmart and got a hot glue gun and glued in, and you talking about a nightmare. It had glue caked up in the arrow. Some of the stuff we see, just, I don't know. I took a few pictures, but I don't want to embarrass them and post it, but
yeah,
it was bad. Let's talk about, I guess we'll go to fletching. Fletching's sort of a broad category because
you got the adhesive stuff, the adhesive strips, and
there's like a fletching tape.
Mm-hmm.
There's the old school fletch type stuff that takes a while to dry. Most any super glue type stuff will work. But then the main thing about fletching is read on the pack and see if they need to be pre-prepped. Like blazers don't. Blazers, you just run and gun. But there's certain AAEs and flex fletches and all that stuff, and you got to prep the vein typically with an acetone before you stick them down. So I think that's where a lot of people have problems, is they don't read that and they just throw glue on it and they fall off, and then that happens. But that's my go-to is the Loctite control gel for fletching for feathers and veins, except for those few that, like, I don't think Fletch like that stuff, and I use their glue and it worked perfect. So there's a few that kind of you want to use their glue.
I think on the fletches, I think as long as you run their no prep ones, I think you're good as far as a running like the Loctite gel, because I've run that on. I've had some of the no preps and they stuck fine, and once you got them stuck, they wasn't coming off.
And then, like, if you watch some of my videos where I do the bow tuning, I tie those little, inside the loop, I tie my little knocking points, or whatever you want to call them, knock ties, knock points, whatever, to make sure that the loop don't pinch the arrow, and to make sure that that's a permanent spot for that arrow and all that. But in recent years, I started hitting that with a little glue, not the center serving, just that little tiny little couple knots I tie with that serving thread, because you'll get certain brands of nocks that'll want to catch that knot that I tie, and it'll untie it after a couple hundred shots. And that glue you don't really want to use a gel on that. You could either use like a runny super glue, or lately on the things I've been using that brush on glue.
Yeah.
And then go into Hobby Lobby and getting that accelerator. You spray it with that accelerator and it instantly dries, and that works good. But that's sort of a rundown of our glue usage. But we seem to get a lot of questions, especially on fletching. What do you use? Well,
and then also you may want to, like on your axis airs and everything, you can use the super glue, but if you're not quick enough,
the insert,
on that with that hidden insert,
you're gonna stick that tool.
Not only will you stick the tool, but you won't get that insert all the way in. Yeah. So stuff, if you're not real comfortable with using the super glue,
I don't know why I didn't mention epoxy.
Normally when you buy Easton Axis or Full Metal Jackets or anything, it comes with the 2-part epoxy. You just mix it up. I think they have to sit 18 hours, I think.
Something like that.
But at least it won't harden within like 10 seconds. And so if you do mess up, you can still get it down in there.
And you can go to Walmart and get a 2-part 5-minute epoxy, and you still got plenty of time.
Yeah.
You mix it, and even if you're super slow, you could mix it twice and do 6 arrows and then do 6 arrows, but you got plenty of time if something ain't right to get it back out or whatever. But you don't have to wait like a day to shoot them.
Yeah.
But that stuff is stout. I mean, when it sets, it's set. So I don't know why I didn't think to mention it earlier.
But I think that's the only one that really is anything with that hidden insert.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend running the epoxy.
And if you're not familiar with that, or with putting the inserts in, those come with a little tool. And the insert, it's not, you don't see it on the outside at all. It pushes up in the arrow, so it comes with a little plastic insert tool. You push up in there and snatch back out. And you don't pay attention. And if you were to use like a super glue, it'll get stuck in the arrow or halfway going in, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. You just have to heat it up and push it on in, which you really don't want to put a lot of heat. You definitely don't want to heat the carbon. Screw your field tip in, heat the field tip up just enough where you just go ahead and finish sliding it in and get it seated, and you should be good.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about that while we're talking about airs and everything. Another question I get asked is, I broke an air, or I need to get an insert out. How do you get it out? I do not recommend doing this on good arrows. If you have a junk pile, like a big just junk arrows, I would take a propane torch, and take a field tip and put it in there and heat the tip of the field tip. And you kind of just rotate it. And you probably want to leave it in there about 3 or 4 seconds. Take it out, get your pair of pliers, and try to pull that insert out. And if it doesn't pull out, about 3 or 4 more seconds, if you heat it up too much, you could actually get it'll unravel the carbon because it's heating it up and it's just separating. And if you do that, then, your air is shot pretty much, unless you got a youngin or somebody you can cut it down past that unraveling. So you just got to be really careful. I mean, even it still does it to me sometimes on theirs. So
yeah, be careful. It's just a fine line of, you definitely don't want to get that heat near the carbon.
Yeah.
If you overheat the tip, like you say, it'll bust the arrow. So you just get that, hit it with a little heat, give it a little tug, hit it with a little heat, give it a little tug. It'll take a little while and it'll finally ease out usually.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk about, I don't remember who I had this chat with, but the chat was, ultimately was, why is my lighted nocks not hitting with my regular nocks? And I told him, I said, weigh a lighted nock and weigh a regular nock, you're looking at sometimes a 20 or 30 grain difference just according to what brand it is. And, people don't think about that. And that was the one thing that I kind of liked about those knockout ones, is you could turn them off and practice with them without burning your battery out, and then just turn them back on. But I would definitely say practice with, if you're shooting lighted nock, practice with them, especially at your longer yardages. 20's nothing, but you get out at 40 or so, it could drop more. Could change your tune, it could change your flight, it could change everything.
And also, with a lighted nock, it's not the same diameter and everything as your regular nock. Mm-hmm. So if you take your bow in for a restring, or make sure if you're shooting a lighted nock to tell the guys at the shop or in here, hey, I'm shooting lighted nocks. Mm-hmm. Here's one with a lighted nock. To when we do our inner knocking ties, you can get that right. And even if you did shoot a regular nock in there, it's not enough of a gap between the inner knocking ties, between your lighted nock and your regular nock, to make a hill of beans about anything. You just don't want, like I did one year, switched up to some glory nocks, didn't think about it, knocked my air and went to draw back, and my air pops off. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there almost at full draw watching this air with a broadhead, like, please don't hit a string, please don't hit a string. So.
And also, if you're in whatever area you're in, if you drop your bow off to get tuned, leave one of your arrows with it. Several of the videos I did in the past week that are going to be coming out, and I said it in the videos, but they didn't tell us and didn't leave us an arrow. So we just kind of say, all right, well, this will be a 350 spine. We'll shoot this arrow, and it'll be close until they come back and figure out what they're doing. But, about all we can do without that information is set it up for a regular size carbon, straight down the center and level it, and that's it. But you would not believe how many people just don't think about that, and they'll just be like, I need a string. What arrows are you shooting? Well, I think it was a... And then we're like, well, bring one back, when you come back, and then they don't bring it. People just think you restring a bow and everything's still back to perfect normal. It's not. Your sights change usually. Everything changes. Mm-hmm. So that's always... it's not that big of a deal. But just, somebody, you want to get it right, and it ain't 100% right because you don't have exactly what they're shooting. But...
And, on the other hand, most people, as long as they can go out and, 20 yards, keep it in a pie plate, or 30 yards, keep it in an 8-inch pie plate, that's all they want.
Yeah.
So.
True that.
But, trying to think of what else has been big lately.
I still have a lot of talk about heavy arrows.
Yep.
It's crazy because used to it was light arrows. I want the lightest thing. I want it to go fast as possible. Now it's the bows have slowed back down a little bit.
Yeah.
A little smoother draw, but people want the heavy arrow.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that I don't really care about speed myself. I just pretty much go by a spine chart and see where I'm at and pick an arrow and just build it.
I'd still, the next I'd love to come up with an 80-pound bow or somebody that brings one in, and I really want to build some Black Eagle Rampage 150s. I think they're like 16 grains per inch.
Yeah.
And then brass them out, brass everything with a heavy tip weight, and just we'd probably be at around 800, maybe more grains if I could play enough. I'd just like to see what would happen. You know what I mean? Just to play with it. But maybe we'll do that sometime this year, just as something to test.
Little side project.
Little side. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. Our live feeds have been going good. People have been getting on there and asking a lot of questions while we're on there, and that's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah.
A lot of views on our podcast. Like I say, I'm hoping we can get to start shooting some sooner than later, and we can get some more shooting videos out instead of just the same old restring and tune videos. I'll tell you what we've thought about doing. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I'd like to get on Amazon, eBay, whatever, and buy some what would look to be junk stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's be a side, a rest, broadhead, whatever. And then kind of do a review on it, give it away, and then just see how that goes. You know what I mean? Like Rage, well, it's not really a good example. I don't even want to fool with that. But like a junk recurve that's on there. You know what I mean? I've seen one that's on there for $60 or $70, and even me, I've wondered. I wonder if that's worth $60 or $70, or is it complete junk? We can get it, shoot it, do a full blown. Here's what we think about it, and then give it away on a live feed. We could do the same thing with a rangefinder or whatever, and I'm sure it's going to be some China crap, but it just be one of those. Is it worth the bank? It's cheap. Is it
worth it?
Yeah. That would be something neat to get into, and we may look into doing that some. But I guess we've bored y'all enough. We'll get off of here.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. Tune into that Thursday live feed. We'll be announcing something that we're giving away the next week and all the information on it. If you need the bowstrings, archershackstrings.com. You got any more questions, email us. I'll put all our contact stuff in the description. And we've had a lot of people calling lately asking about ordering bows, and like a lot of the bare bows we can ship, but the problem is with this virus, there's not many companies we can get bows from right now.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, what we got's what we got until this is over. But we can, if you need some stuff, we can get you some stuff. But but anyway, just let us know what we can do for you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video.
See y'all.
See ya.